Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaudavani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachideshatarine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaudavani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachideshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Nityananda,
Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Yoda Premanande.
Hari 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 Bo.
Hare Krishna, welcome to Kala Prabhu, just tuned in. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I have with me Rasa Leela Devidasi also.
Jai, thank you. Bal Ashok Prabhu, Rasalila Mataji.
Hi, Tom.
Thank you for joining. Yeah, we just finished the kirtan, Kala Prabhu, so you know. Yeah, we're just diving into Canto 1, Chapter 11, Text 18. If you want to follow along, 1, 11, 18. And if anybody would like, please repeat for the invocation here. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam namaskritya narang chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat shrinvatam swakata krishna punya shravana kirtana hridyantasto yabhadrani vidhunoti suhrit satam nashtaprayashva badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Okay. Diving in. 1:11:18. Varanendram puraskritya brahmanai sasyamangalai sankaturya ninadena brahmagoshena chadritaha pratyujagmurathayar hrishta pranayagata sadvasaha. They hastened toward the Lord in chariots with brahmanas bearing flowers. Before them were elephants, emblems of good fortune. Conch shells and bugles were sounded, and Vedic hymns were chanted. Thus they offered their respects, which were saturated with affection. Purport. The Vedic way of receiving a great personality creates an atmosphere of respect, which is saturated with affection and veneration for the person received. The auspicious atmosphere of such a reception depends on the paraphernalia described above, including conch shells, flowers, incense, decorated elephants, and the qualified brahmanas reciting verses from the Vedic literatures. Such a program of reception is full of sincerity on the part of both the receiver and the received. Paramukyascha shatasho yanaista darshanotsukaha lasat kundala nirbhata kapola vadana shriya. At the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes began to proceed on various vehicles. They were all very eager to meet the Lord, and their beautiful faces were decorated with dazzling earrings which enhanced the beauty of their foreheads. Purport. We may not hate even the prostitutes if they are devotees of the Lord. Even to date, there are many prostitutes in great cities of India who are sincere devotees of the Lord. By tricks of chance, one may be obliged to adopt a profession which is not very adorable in society. But that does not hamper one in executing devotional service to the Lord. Devotional service to the Lord is uncheckable in all circumstances. It is understood herewith that even in those days, about 5,000 years ago, there were prostitutes in a city like Dwarka where Lord Krishna resided. This means that prostitutes are necessary citizens for the proper upkeep of society. The government opens wine shops, but this does not mean that the government encourages the drinking of wine. The idea is that there is a class of men who will drink at any cost, and it has been experienced that prohibition in great cities encouraged illicit smuggling of wine. Similarly, men who are not satisfied at home require such concessions, and if there is no prostitute, then such low men will induce others into prostitution. It is better that prostitutes be available in the marketplace so that the sanctity of society can be maintained. It is better to maintain a class of prostitutes than to encourage prostitutes within society. The real reformation is to enlighten all people to become devotees of the Lord, and that will check all kinds of deteriorating factors of life. Sri Bilvamangal Thakur, a great acharya of the Vishnu Swami Vaishnav sect, in his householder life was overly attached to a prostitute who happened to be a devotee of the Lord. One night when the Thakur came to Chintamani's house in torrents of rain and thunder, Chintamani was astonished to see how the Thakur could come on such a dreadful night after crossing a foaming river which was full of waves. She said to Thakur Bilvamangal that his attraction for the flesh and bone of an insignificant woman like her would be properly utilized if it could be diverted to the devotional service of the Lord to achieve attraction for the transcendental beauty of the Lord. It was a momentous hour for the Thakur, and he took a turn towards spiritual realization by the words of a prostitute. Later on, the Thakur accepted the prostitute as a spiritual master, and in several places of his literary works he has glorified the name of Chintamani, who showed him the right path. In the Bhagavad Gita 9:32, the Lord says, O son of Prita, even the low-born Chandalas and those who are born in a family of unbelievers, and even the prostitutes shall attain perfection of life if they take shelter of unalloyed devotional service to me. Because in the path of devotional service there are no impediments due to degraded birth and occupation. The path is open for everyone who agrees to follow it. It appears that the prostitutes of Dwarka who were so eager to meet the Lord were all his unalloyed devotees, and thus they were all on the path of salvation according to the above version of the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, the only reformation that is necessary in society is to make an organized effort to turn the citizens into devotees of the Lord. And thus all good qualities of the denizens of heaven will overtake them in their own way. On the other hand, those who are non-devotees have no good qualifications whatsoever, however they may be materially advanced. The difference is that the devotees of the Lord are on the path of liberation, whereas the non-devotees are on the path of further enlightenment in material bondage. The criterion of advancement of civilization is whether the people are educated and advanced on the path of salvation. Text 20. Natanartaka gandharva sutamaghadha vandanaha gayanti chartama shloka charitanya dabhutani cha. I gotta plug this in real quick. Okay. Translation. Expert dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, and learned speakers all gave their respective contributions, being inspired by the superhuman pastimes of the Lord. Thus they proceeded on and on. Purport. It appears that 5,000 years ago the society also needed the services of the dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, public speakers, and so on. Dancers, singers, and dramatic artists mostly hailed from the Shudra community, whereas the learned historians, genealogists, and public speakers hailed from the Brahmana community. All of them belonged to a particular caste, and they became so trained in their respective families. Such dramatists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, and public speakers would dwell on the subject of the Lord's superhuman activities in different ages and millenniums, and not on ordinary events, nor were they in chronological order. All the Puranas are historical facts described only in relation with the Supreme Lord in different ages and times, as well as on different planets also. Therefore, we do not find any chronological order. The modern historians, therefore, cannot catch up the link, and thus they unauthoritatively remark that the Puranas are all imaginary stories only. Even 100 years ago in India, all dramatic performances were centered around the superhuman activities of the Supreme Lord. The common people would be verily entertained by the performances of dramas, and yatra parties played wonderfully on the superhuman activities of the Lord. And thus, even the illiterate agriculturist would be a participant in the knowledge of Vedic literature, despite a considerable lack of academic qualifications. Therefore, expert players in drama, dancers, singers, speakers, and so on are required for the spiritual enlightenment of the common man. The genealogist would give account completely of the descendants of a particular family. Even at the present moment, the guides in the pilgrimage sites of India submit a complete account of genealogical tables before a newcomer. This wonderful act sometimes attracts more customers to receive such important information. Bhagavanstatra bandhunam puranam anuvartanam yatha vidyupasangamya sarvesham manamadadhe. Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, approached them and offered due honor and respect to each and every one of the friends, relatives, citizens, and all others who came to receive and welcome him. Purport. The Supreme Lord, personality of Godhead, is neither impersonal nor an inner object unable to reciprocate the feelings of his devotees. Here the word yatha vidhi, or just as it behooves, is significant. He reciprocates just as it behooves with his different types of admirers and devotees. Of course, the pure devotees are of one type only because they have no other object for service but the Lord. And therefore the Lord also reciprocates with such pure devotees just as it behooves. Namely, he is always attentive to all the matters of his pure devotees. There are others who designate him as impersonal, and so the Lord also does not take any personal interest. He satisfies everyone in terms of one's development of spiritual consciousness. And a sample of such reciprocation is exhibited here with his different welcomers. Bhavabhivadanaslesha karasparasha smatekshanai aspasya chasvapakebhyo varaischabi matarvibuhu. The Almighty Lord greeted everyone present by bowing his head, exchanging greetings, embracing, shaking hands, looking and smiling, giving assurances, and awarding benedictions, even to the lowest in rank. Purport. To receive the Lord, Sri Krishna, there were all grades of population, beginning from Vasudeva, Ugrasena, and Gargamuni, the father, grandfather, and teacher, down to the prostitutes and chandalas, who are accustomed to eat dogs. And every one of them was properly greeted by the Lord in terms of rank and position. As pure living entities, all are the separated parts and parcels of the Lord, and thus no one is alien by his eternal relation. Such pure living entities are graded differently in terms of contamination of the modes of material nature. But the Lord is equally affectionate to all his parts and parcels, despite material gradation. He descends only to recall these materialistic living beings back to his kingdom, and intelligent persons take advantage of this facility offered by the personality of Godhead to all living beings. No one is rejected by the Lord from the kingdom of God, and it remains with the living being to accept this or not.
Jai.
Haribo, you got something?
No, it's just really nice.
Okay.
It's nice to hear. He accepts everybody. It's nice.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, like that. No one is alien by his eternal relation. Yeah, and not only does he include everyone of all sizes, shapes, colors, nationalities, but planets and universes. Hare Krishna. Okay, text 23. Swayam Chaguru Bir Viprai Sadarai Stavararapi Ashibir Yujamano Nyar Vandibhischa Vishat Puram. Then the Lord personally entered the city accompanied by elderly relatives and invalid brahmanas with their wives, all offering benedictions and singing the glories of the Lord. Others also praised the glories of the Lord. Purport. The brahmanas in society were never attentive to banking money for future retired life. When they were old invalids, they used to approach the assembly of the kings, and simply by praising the glorious deeds performed by the kings along with their wives, they would be provided with all necessities of life.
That's actually funny.
Why is that?
Just like it's more interesting than anything, but just being like a Brahmin, living like the yogi lifestyle, and then as you're older, just getting the like it's nice that the king would actually like give gifts like that. You just go and like praise the king for like all the nice things that he's doing, and then he just like takes care of you because you're a Brahmin. The whole like uh dharmic system was set up so nicely before.
Right. Right. Nice point. Okay, purport. The brahmanas in society were never attentive to banking money for future retired life. When they were old invalids, they used to approach the assembly of the kings, and simply by praising the glorious deeds performed by the kings along with their wives, they would be provided with all necessities of life. Such brahmanas were not, so to speak, flatterers of the kings, but the kings were actually glorified by their actions, and they were sincerely still more encouraged in pious acts by such brahmanas in a dignified way. Lord Sri Krishna is worthy of all glories, and the praying brahmanas and others were glorified themselves by chanting the glories of the Lord. Rajamargam gate Krishne dwarakaya kulastriyaha haramyan yaduruhur vipra tarikshana mahotsavaha. When Lord Krishna passed over the public roads, all the ladies from the respectable families of Dwarka went up to the roofs of their palaces just to have a look at the Lord. They considered this to be the greatest festival. Purport. To have a look at the Lord is a great festive occasion, undoubtedly, as it was considered by the metropolitan ladies of Dwarka. This is still followed by the devout ladies of India, especially during the days of the Julan and Janmashtami ceremonies. The ladies of India still throng up in the greatest number at the temples of the Lord, where his transcendental eternal form is worshipped. The transcendental form of the Lord installed in a temple is not different from the Lord personally. Such a form of the Lord is called Archa Vigraha or Archa incarnation, and is expanded by the Lord by his internal potency, just to facilitate the devotional service of his innumerable devotees who are in the material world. The material senses cannot perceive the spiritual nature of the Lord, and therefore the Lord accepts the Archa Vigraha, which is apparently made of material elements like earth, wood, and stone, but actually there is no material contamination. The Lord being Kaivalya, one alone, there is no matter in him. He is one without a second, and therefore the Almighty Lord can appear in any form without being contaminated by the material conception. Therefore, festivities in the temple of the Lord, as held generally, are like festivals performed during the manifestive days of the Lord of Dwarka, about 5,000 years ago. The authorized acharyas who know the science perfectly install such temples of the Lord under regulative principles just to offer facilities to the common man. But persons who are less intelligent, without being conversant with the science, mistake this great attempt to be idol worship and poke their nose into that to which they have no access. Therefore, the ladies or men who observe festivals in the temples of the Lord just to have a look at the transcendental form are 1,000 times more glorious than those who are non-believers in the transcendental form of the Lord. It appears from the verse that the inhabitants of Dwarka were all owners of big palaces. This indicates the prosperity of the city. The ladies got up on the roofs just to have a look at the procession of the Lord. The ladies did not mix with the crowd on the street, and thus their respectability was perfectly observed. There is no artificial equality with the man. Female respectability is preserved more elegantly by keeping the woman separate from the man. The sexes should not mix unrestrictedly. Nityam nirikshyamananam yadapi dvarakaukasham navitripyanti hi darsha shriyodhamangamachutam. The inhabitants of Dwarka were regularly accustomed to look upon the reservoir of all beauty, the infallible Lord, yet they were never satisfied. Purport. When the ladies of the city of Dwarka got up on the roofs of their palaces, they never thought that they had previously many times seen the beautiful body of the infallible Lord. This indicates that they had no satiation in desiring to see the Lord. Anything material seen for a number of times ultimately becomes unattractive by the law of satiation. The law of satiation. I like that. The law of satiation acts materially, but there is no scope for it in the spiritual realm. The word infallible is significant here, because although the Lord has mercifully descended on earth, he is still infallible. The living entities are fallible because when they come in contact with the material world, they lack their spiritual identity, and thus the body materially obtained becomes subjected to birth, growth, transformation, situation, deterioration, and annihilation under the laws of nature. The Lord's body is not like that. He descends as he is and is never under the laws of the material modes. His body is the source of everything that be, the reservoir of all beauties beyond our experience. No one, therefore, is satiated by seeing the transcendental body of the Lord, because there are always manifestations of newer and newer beauties. The transcendental name, form, qualities, entourage, and so on are all spiritual manifestations. And there is no satiation in chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no satiation in discussing the qualities of the Lord, and there is no limitation of the entourage of the Lord. He is the source of all and is limitless. I really like that.
Hari.
Hari. I really like that. He's the reservoir of all beauties beyond our experience. We got someone joining. Bo Navaneet, welcome back.
Hello, Hare Krishna.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
To see you again.
Thank you for tuning in. We just Canto 1, Chapter 11, Text 26. We're hearing about the transcendental qualities of the Lord here. And I hope you I hope you can fasten your seatbelt, because it's getting good.
Oh, all right. Right now.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Text 26. Srinivasa yasyora panapatram mukam drasham bahavo lokapalanam sharanganam padambujam. The Lord's chest is the abode of the goddess of fortune. His moon-like face is the drinking vessel for eyes, which hanker after all that is beautiful. His arms are the resting places for the administrative demigods, and his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any subject except his lordship. Purport. There are different classes of human beings, all seeking different enjoyments from different objects. There are persons who are seeking after the favor of the goddess of fortune, and for them the Vedic literatures give information that the Lord is always served with all reverence by thousands and thousands of goddesses of fortune at the Chintamani Dham. the transcendental abode of the Lord, where the trees are all desire trees, and the buildings are made of touchstone. The Lord Govinda is engaged there in herding the Sudabhi cows as his natural occupation. These goddesses of fortune can be seen automatically if we are attracted by the bodily features of the Lord. The impersonalists cannot observe such goddesses of fortune because of their dry speculative habit. And those who are artists, overtaken by the beautiful creation, should better see to the beautiful face of the Lord for complete satisfaction. The face of the Lord is the embodiment of beauty. What they call beautiful nature is but his smile, and what they call the sweet songs of the birds are but specimens of the whispering voice of the Lord. There are administrative demigods in charge of departmental service of cosmic management, and there are tiny administrative gods in the state service. They are always afraid of other competitors, but if they take shelter of the arms of the Lord can protect them always from the attacks of enemies. A faithful servant of the Lord engaged in the service of administration is the ideal executive head and can well protect the interest of the people in general. Other so-called administrators are symbols of anachronisms leading to the acute distress of the people who are governed by them. The administrators can remain safely under the protection of the arms of the Lord. The essence of everything is the Supreme Lord. He is called the Saram, and those who sing and talk about him are called the Sarangas, or the pure devotees. The pure devotees are always hankering after the lotus feet of the Lord. The lotus has a kind of honey which is transcendentally relished by the devotees. They are like the bees who are always after the honey. Srila Rupa Goswami, the great devotee acharya of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, has sung a song about this lotus honey, comparing himself to the bee. O my Lord Krishna, I beg to offer my prayers unto you. My mind is like the bee, and it is after some honey. Kindly, therefore, give my bee mind a place at your lotus feet, which are the resources for all transcendental honey. I know that even big demigods like Brahma do not see the rays of the nails of your lotus feet, even though they are engaged in deep meditation for years together. Still, O infallible one, my ambition is such, for you are very merciful to your surrendered devotees. O Madhava, I know also that I have no genuine devotion for the service of your lotus feet, but because your lordship is inconceivably powerful, you can do what is impossible to be done. Your lotus feet can deride even the nectar of the heavenly kingdom, and therefore I am very much attracted by them. O Supreme Eternal, please, therefore, let my mind be fixed at your lotus feet, so that eternally I may be able to relish the taste of your transcendental service.
I think he has attraction. I'm not even there. He says he has no genuine devotion, but he does say that he has attraction, which is nice. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I aspire to be there.
Okay. The devotees are satisfied with being placed at the lotus feet of the Lord and have no ambition to see his all-beautiful face or aspire for the protection of the strong arms of the Lord. They are humble by nature, and the Lord is always leaning towards such humble devotees. Satata patta yajanara paskrita prasuna varashara bivarashita pati Vishangavasa banamalaya bhavo ghano yatharako dupa chapa vaidyutai. As the Lord passed along the public road of Dwarka, his head was protected from the sunshine by a white umbrella. White feathered fans moved in semicircles, and showers of flowers fell upon the road. His yellow garments and garlands of flowers made it appear as if a dark cloud were surrounded simultaneously by sun, moon, lightning, and rainbows. Purport. The sun, moon, rainbow, and lightning do not appear in the sky simultaneously. When there is sun, the moonlight becomes insignificant, and if there are clouds and a rainbow, there is no manifestation of lightning. The Lord's bodily hue is just like a new monsoon cloud. He is compared herein to the cloud. The white umbrella over his head is compared to the sun. The movement of the bunch hair fans of flukes is compared to the moon. The showers of flowers are compared to the stars. His yellow garments are compared to the rainbow. So all these activities of the firmament, being impossible simultaneous factors, cannot be adjusted by comparison. The adjustment is possible only when we think of the inconceivable potency of the Lord. The Lord is all-powerful, and in his presence anything impossible can be made possible by his inconceivable energy. I'll read that again. The Lord is all-powerful, and in his presence anything impossible can be made possible by his inconceivable energy. But the situation created at the time of his passing on the roads of Dwarka was beautiful and could not be compared to anything besides the description of natural phenomena. Praveshtastu griham pitra parisvakta swamatribihi vande shirasa sapta devaki pramukha muda. After entering the house of his father, he was embraced by the mothers present, and the Lord offered his obeisances unto them by placing his head at their feet. The mothers were headed by Devaki, his real mother. Purport. It appears that Vasudeva, the father of Lord Krishna, had completely separate residential quarters where he lived with his 18 wives, out of whom Srimati Devaki is the real mother of Lord Krishna. But in spite of this, all other stepmothers were equally affectionate to him, as will be evident from the following verse. Lord Krishna did not distinguish his real mother from his stepmothers, and he equally offered his obeisances unto all the wives of Vasudeva present on the occasion. According to scriptures also, there are 7 mothers. 1, the real mother. 2, the wife of the spiritual master. 3, the wife of a brahmana. 4, the wife of the king. 5, the cow. 6, the nurse. And 7, the earth. All of them are mothers. Even by this injunction of the Shastras, the stepmother, who is the wife of the father, is also as good as the mother, because the father is also one of the spiritual masters. Lord Krishna, the Lord of the universe, plays the part of an ideal son just to teach others how to treat their stepmothers. Taputtam ankamaropya snehasnuta prayodaraha harsha vivalitatmana sisichur netra jayarjalai. The mothers, after embracing their son, sat him on their laps. Due to pure affection, milk sprang from their breasts. They were overwhelmed with delight, and the tears from their eyes wetted the Lord. Purport. When the Lord was at Vrindavan, even the cows would become moistened by affection towards him, and he would draw milk from the nipples of every affectionate living being. So what to speak of the stepmothers who were already as good as their own mother? All right, Krishna. That's so funny.
What do you like about it?
It's just funny.
So funny.
Yeah, he would draw milk from the nipples of every affectionate living being. Hare Krishna. Alright, text 30. Atavasat swabhavanam sarvakama manutamam prasada yatra patinam sahasrani chasodasa. Thereafter the Lord entered his palaces, which were perfect to the fullest extent. His wives lived in them, and they numbered over 16,000. Purport. Lord Krishna had 16,108 wives, and for each and every one of them there was a fully equipped palace complete with necessary compounds and gardens. Full description of these palaces is given in the 10th canto. All the palaces were made of the best marble stone. They were illuminated by jewels and decorated by curtains and carpet of velvet and silk, nicely bedecked and embroidered with gold lace. The personality of Godhead means one who is full with all power, all energy, all opulences, all beauties, all knowledge, and all renunciation. Therefore, in the palaces of the Lord there was nothing wanting for fulfilling all desires of the Lord. The Lord is unlimited, and therefore his desires are also unlimited. And the supply is also unlimited. Everything being unlimited, it is consciously described here as sarva kamam, or full with all desirable equipment. Patnya patim pravasya grihanupagatam vilokya sanjata manam mahotsavaha utasturarat sahasasanasayat sakam vratar vridittalochanananaha. The queens of Lord Sri Krishna rejoiced within their minds to see their husband home after a long period abroad. The queens got up at once from their seats and meditations. As was socially customary, they covered their faces shyly and looked about coyly. Purport. As mentioned above, the Lord entered his home palaces occupied by 16,108 queens. This means that the Lord at once expanded himself in as many plenary expansions as there were queens and palaces, and entered in each and every one of them simultaneously and separately. Here is another manifestation of the feature of his internal potency. He can expand himself in as many forms of spiritual identity as he desires, even though he is one without a second. It is confirmed by the Shruti mantra that the Absolute is one alone, and yet he becomes many as soon as he so desires. These manifold expansions of the Supreme Lord are manifested as plenary and separated portions. The separated portions are representations of his energy, and the plenary portions are manifestations of his personality. Thus, the personality of Godhead manifested himself in 16,108 plenary expansions, and simultaneously entered into each and every one of the palaces of the queens. This is called Vaibhava, or the transcendental potency of the Lord, and because he can do so, he is also known as Yogeshvara. Ordinarily, a yogi or mystic living being is able to expand himself at utmost to 10-fold expansions of his body. But the Lord can do so to the extent of as many thousands or infinitely as he likes. Unbelievers become astonished to learn that Lord Krishna married more than 16,000 queens because they think of Lord Krishna as one of them and measure the potency of the Lord by their own limited potency. One should know, therefore, that the Lord is never on the level with the living beings, who are but expansions of his marginal potency, and one should never equalize the potent and the potency, although there is very little difference of quality between the potent and the potency. The queens were also expansions of his internal potency, and thus the potent and potencies are perpetually exchanging transcendental pleasures, known as pastimes of the Lord. One should not, therefore, become astonished to learn that the Lord married so many wives. On the contrary, one should affirm that even if the Lord marries 16,000 million wives, he is not completely manifesting his unlimited and inexhaustible potency. He married only 16,000 wives, and entered in each and every one of the different palaces just to impress in the history of the human beings on the surface of the earth that the Lord is never equal to or less than any human being, however powerful he may be. No one therefore is either equal to or greater than the Lord. The Lord is always great in all respects. God is great is eternal truth. Therefore, as soon as the queens saw from a distance their husband, who was away from home for long periods due to the battle of Kurukshetra, they all arose from the slumber of meditation and prepared to receive their most beloved. According to Yajnavalkya's religious injunctions, a woman whose husband is away from home should not take part in any social functions, should not decorate her body, should not laugh, and should not go to any relative's house in any circumstance. This is the vow of the ladies whose husbands are away from home. At the same time, it is also enjoined that a wife should never present herself before the husband in an unclean state. She must decorate herself with ornaments and good dress, and should should always be present before the husband in a happy and joyous mood. The queens of Lord Krishna were all in meditation, thinking of the Lord's absence, and were always meditating upon him. The Lord's devotees cannot live for a moment without meditating on the Lord, and what to speak of the queens, who were all goddesses of fortune, incarnated as queens in the pastimes of the Lord at Dwarka. They can never be separated from the Lord, either by presence or by trance. The gopis at Vrindavan could not forget the Lord when the Lord was away in the forest cowherding. When the Lord boy, Krishna, was absent from the village, the gopis at home used to worry about him traversing the rough ground with his soft lotus feet. By thinking thus, they were sometimes overwhelmed in trance and mortified in the heart. Such is the condition of the pure associates of the Lord. They are always in trance, and so the queens also were in trance during the absence of the Lord. Presently, having seen the Lord from a distance, they at once gave up all their engagements, including the vows of women as described above. According to Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, there was a regular psychological reaction on the occasion. First of all, rising from their seats, although they wanted to see their husband, they were deterred because of feminine shyness. But due to strong ecstasy, they overcame that stage of weakness and became caught up with the idea of embracing the Lord. And this thought factually made them unconscious of their surrounding environment. This prime state of ecstasy annihilated all other formalities and social conventions, and thus they escaped all stumbling blocks on the path of meeting the Lord. And that is the perfect stage of meeting the Lord of the soul, Sri Krishna. All right, Krishna. Anybody want to share anything at this point? Reflections, questions, comments?
It's very nectar.
Very nectar. Yes. Hare Krishna. Everyone is in rapt attention hearing.
I like the example of the spontaneity of their devotion, and they like stopped following all like the above mentioned regulations of the wife. And they
Yeah.
just started being in
Sorry.
ecstasy, seeing Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah, and what other conception do we find this? Like what other, conception of God, spiritual conception do we find this concept? Like Vishnu Tattva, Lord Narayan is worshipped in a mood of awe and reverence, but Krishna exchanges that awe and reverence for sweetness. And yeah, that's one special feature of Krishna bhakti. When one becomes attracted, and there's a specific potency of when that affection is very strong, you become transcendental to all the rules and regulations. They had so many things to follow, to do things properly according to etiquette and whatnot, their vows, and their extreme affection pushed them into ecstasy, which pushed them to completely neglect those things. But they're still, these are not like ordinary wives. They're, like Prabhupada said, goddesses of fortune. Manifest as wives of the Lord here. So that's amazing. Such an advanced concept of devotion.
Yeah, I also like the other day where Prabhupada was talking about just like they would faint at just like thinking about being like kissed by Krishna, and how they're like super advanced devotees, and just having that ecstasy of being able to be kissed by Krishna. I was thinking last night, like imagine like Krishna like kissing you on like your eyelids, like I don't know, just it'd be so insanely ecstatic.
Yeah. Yeah, this hearing this lately, we have some nice pictures of Radha Krishna here, and I'll just share this morning because we were hearing a lot about the transcendental form of the Lord, and I came this morning and I took a darshan and the first thing I just remembered was the transcendental form of the Lord, and just in remembering that it was like immediately like just really nectar, but
I want what you're having.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, and there's another point. Oh yeah, I've been meditating and hearing Bhagavatam lately. It's really pushing me. Like we heard recently, how the Lord's most intimate associates, especially in Vrindavan, his mother, his cowherd friends, the cowherd, milkmaids of Vrindavan and what have you. They don't see Krishna as God. They just love him for being Krishna. And this concept is really far out to me. To have the relationship with Krishna as a person, whether he's God or not. And so that idea has been something I've been meditating on, and it's pushing me to like just be more personal in my actual, like, what is my actual relationship with Krishna? Why do I actually like Krishna? How much of my practicing Krishna consciousness or approaching Krishna is because he's God, and because, maybe I have selfish desires, like, I want to do the right thing, or I want to
Wonderful.
I want to get out of the material world, or whatever it is. So, anyway, I just wanted to share that. It's a nice meditation, and to appreciate Krishna just for, just for who he is, and his qualities. And Bhagavatam is, the Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna, but Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken about Krishna. So we get to hear about all those qualities and help, just there to help us deepen our appreciation for Krishna, as a person, whether he's God or not.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to say, along Bhakti C's point, comment that it's not really a point, or I guess it's not a point and comment. Along that, I was also thinking about Krishna's interactions with kissing the gopis, and like it's mentioned in Krishna book that he had betel nuts in his mouth, and he would exchange the betel nuts into the gopis' mouth by kissing, and then it's really wonderful. And a Prabhupada disciple named Louis was talking to me about this a few weeks back when I first met him. He's a wonderful devotee, and he was just saying, he explained to me that betel nuts. His exact words were that betel nuts were like cocaine back then. So I thought maybe that'd be interesting for you guys to hear. Like, I don't know about a directly cocaine level, but probably, I mean, that's what the Prabhupada disciples said, is that it was like cocaine back then. The cocaine of those times was betel nuts.
Yeah, I don't know where that's from, but it is said to be an intoxicant.
An intoxicant, yes.
I don't know where that specific comparison comes, but
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, it's nice to hear the qualities, in these specific activities of the Lord. Yeah, I remember whenever I first was reading Bhagavatam, 41 pages a day, and we started the Bhakti program. I shared this before, but probably a lot of whoever's present now wasn't here when I shared this before. And there was a kind of a big uproar because I had like brand new devotees, newer devotees, and some of the more senior brahmacharis were like, like my peers. They were like, they got in a big debate whether or not I should read the 10th canto with the new devotees,
Oh,
and because because the way I was doing it was I'm reading Bhagavatam ongoing, 41 pages a day. You read the whole Bhagavatam in a year. So if a devotee joins in July, I could be like in the middle of the 10th canto, you know? It's like whenever somebody joins, they can join at any point in the year cycle. Because I had the Bhakta program was designed for a 1 year loop. Haribo Navneet Haribo. The Bhakti program was a 1 year loop of, one shloka a week we would memorize. 41 pages a day of Bhagavatam, and we read a chapter of Bhagavad Gita a day with just the shlokas. So after a year, you've read Bhagavad Gita. I can't remember. It was like, I don't know, like 18 times or something. You read Bhagavatam once. You memorized at least just over 50 shlokas, the top quoted shlokas from Prabhupada and other stuff. So anyway, yeah, they got in a big fight, and some of them felt very strongly I shouldn't. And then in the end, actually, senior devotees, they told me, you must read the 10th canto, but you must do so in the proper mood, and that is with folded palms.
Sure.
And so I always remembered that, because it is easy to,
Nice.
like in this purport we just heard, it's easy to take Krishna as like how we are. I was sharing a couple days ago, I got in an argument with this guy who can't accept that Krishna had 16,000 wives. Well, that was brought up today, and basically we project our own, uh, we try to take Krishna as we are. And so, should be very careful. But if we can't approach in the right mood, then actually, yeah, you can really relish Krishna's pastimes, because the quality it's pure transcendental sound vibration, and it's unlimited transcendental affairs to relish. All right, Krishna. Any other points from anybody?
Hare Krishna.
Hey.
Hare Hare. So again, this is just nectar unfolding. I'm so grateful to be here listening to Bhagavatam, and the blessing of hearing so many glorifications of the Lord, and also how everyone is attracted and also sharing their realizations of how it's present in these moods. So I had one point that was when it was mentioned that the sun and the moon, then Krishna is present in these two. So Krishna is here in the sun, Krishna is here in the moon, and then Krishna is here in the lightning and in the rainbow. And I felt to share the one verse from Gita that is, for one who sees me everywhere and sees all things in me, I am never lost to them, nor are they lost to me. And it's amazing too that it's mentioned, how in this reading tonight there were several different aspects where he's constantly seen, yet we can't even imagine all of the beauty that he is. So that's really beautiful to think of.
Right. Absolutely, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just hearing it, like, according to the quality of our hearing, and our devotion, which is directly connected with the hearing. Actually, Krishna can reveal to us, like Prabhupada calls it, television of the heart. He can reveal little glimpses or full-on, experiences of, this transcendental beauty that you're bringing up, that, for the mundane mind can't grasp, or the mundane senses and mind can't capture the beauty of Krishna. Yeah. But at the same time, it's amazing as human beings, at least, and as spirit souls, we have the capacity to actually capture it and experience it, but it's only by, surrender to Krishna and bhakti. And so the undoable becomes doable. I was speaking with somebody earlier, and they were saying they were having some doubt, and they were expressing, they're asking me a question, and I basically gave the answer of that, he's saying, how are these people doing these specific thing, and I said that it's basically results of previous karmic activities, and basically he's pretty strong preaching against meat eating, but he's like kind of into physical health and exercise and being the best he can be in all these kind of like material ways. And he like kind of is like expressing like, how are all these athletes eating meat and being so healthy and this and that, and so I this comes up periodically with this individual, and I give a different response every time. I tried to. So this time I said, well, the way that they can have that health in that situation is by it's by previous karmic activities. This is the results of their karma. But with the meat eating, they're incurring so much karma. And I took a quote from, I think, chapter 7. I think it's chapter 7, text 10. Let me just look really quick. Yeah. Oh, this is huge. Anyway, it was about everyone who's in the line of, who gives permission, who actually slaughters the animal, who transports it, who administers distribution. All, like he gave a list of everyone who takes on karmic results from those activities in meat eating and killing of animal slaughter. So I sent that to him just because he normally likes hearing that kind of stuff. And basically I was saying, like, they might be enjoying the results of their previous karma now, but what they're doing now is going to result in more karma later. So right now it looks like, oh, they're enjoying, and it's like I want to enjoy like them, almost like, how do I understand this? But I forgot where I was going with this. Sorry. Hi, Krishna. I had a point I was getting to. Sorry, my mind went blank. Oh, the point was, like, just like the point we we're just hearing about the undoable becomes doable. He was saying, yeah, but I can't remember my past lives, though, and almost, it seemed like he was kind of doubting that, so, and I explained to him that actually, like, well, Krishna is the, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sanivishto Matta Smritir Jnanam Apunam Cha. He is the giver of knowledge, remembrance, and forgiveness. And by actually surrendering to Krishna, he can give you the insight and the knowledge to actually understand anything, with even previous lives. Anything. Especially knowledge given in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita that is meant to help us in devotional service. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upiyantite. Those who are constantly devoted to me, serving me with love and devotion, I give them the buddhi, the intelligence or understanding by which they can come to me. So, if anything's possible in devotional service, Krishna can reveal anything. He can reveal deep insights into the nature of the world. He can reveal deep insights to the nature of ourselves and our lives and our previous lives, anything. just through bhakti. So a sincere devotee is not really chasing these things, but any particular devotee might have a certain yearning for certain information, and Krishna can give that just to encourage him in devotional service. But if he doesn't give it, do you still want Krishna? So sometimes he tests us. He maybe leave us high and dry, let us suffer on, waiting for us to just to test us. Like, wait, are you going to give up? If I don't give you a taste, are you going to still keep chanting? If you struggle chanting your japa for 5 years straight, 10 years straight, are you going to give up? Do you really want Krishna? Sometimes he tests you like that. So that's why we remember the last verse of the Shikshastakam. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He's completely free to do anything and everything, for he's always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. And this is supposed to be the highest expression of the highest state of love of God, love and separation, which we're given facility to cultivate. Sometimes it's not easy. But if we're sincere, of course, Krishna is reciprocating constantly. Hare Krishna. Any points from anybody else?
So wonderful, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so chanting is nice. We should keep doing it. As much as possible. I'm just going to read one more verse, at least. Okay. Text 32. Tamatmajarjishtibir antaratmana taranta bhava pirire bhire patim naruramapyashravarambunetrayor vilajatinam bhrigu vaiklavat. The inseparable ecstasy was so strong that the queens who were shy first embraced the Lord in the innermost recesses of their hearts. Then they embraced him visually, and then they sent their sons to embrace him, which is equal to personal embracing. But, O chief, amongst the Brigus, though they tried to restrain their feelings, they inadvertently shed tears. Purport. Although due to feminine shyness, there were many hindrances to embracing their dear husband, Lord Sri Krishna, the queens performed that act by seeing him, by putting him in the cores of their hearts, and by sending their sons to embrace him. Still, the act remained unfinished, and tears rolled down their cheeks despite all endeavors to check them. One indirectly embraces the husband by sending the son to embrace him because the son is developed as part of the mother's body. The embrace of the son is not exactly the embrace of husband and wife from the sexual point of view, but the embrace is satisfaction from the affectionate point of view. The embrace of the eyes is more effective in the conjugal relation, and thus, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, there is nothing wrong in such an exchange of feeling between husband and wife. One more. Yad yasa parashva gatoraho gatas tatapi tashyangri yugmam navam pade pade ka virameta tat padach jalape aschirna jahati karhachit. Although Lord Sri Krishna was constantly by their sides as well as exclusively alone, his feet appeared to them to be newer and newer. The goddess of fortune, although by nature always restless and moving, could not quit the Lord's feet. So what woman can be detached from those feet, having once taken shelter of them? Purport. Conditioned living beings are always after the favor of the goddess of fortune, although by nature she is moving from one place to another. In the material world, no one is permanently fortunate, however clever one may be. There have been so many big empires in different parts of the world. There have been so many powerful kings all over the world, and there have been so many fortunate men, but all of them have been liquidated gradually. This is the law of material nature, but spiritually it is different. According to Brahma Samhita, the Lord is served very respectfully by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. They are always in a lonely place also with the Lord. But still, the association of the Lord is so inspiringly newer and newer that they cannot quit the Lord for a moment, even though they are by nature very restless and are moving about. The spiritual relation with the Lord is so enlivening and resourceful that no one can leave the company of the Lord, once having taken shelter of him. The living beings are by constitution feminine by nature. The male or enjoyer is the Lord, and all manifestations of his different potencies are feminine by nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, the living beings are designated as Para Prakriti, or the superior potency. The material elements are Apara Prakriti, or inferior potency. Such potencies are always employed for the satisfaction of the employer, or the enjoyer. The supreme enjoyer is the Lord himself, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 5.29. The potencies, therefore, when engaged directly in the service of the Lord, revive the natural color, and thus there is no disparity in the relation of the potent and potency. I'll read that again. The potencies, therefore, when engaged directly in the service of the Lord, revive the natural color, and thus there is no disparity in the relation of the potent and the potency. Generally, people engaged in service are always seeking some post under the government or the supreme enjoyer of the state. Since the Lord is the supreme enjoyer of everything in or outside the universe, it is happiness to be employed by him. Once engaged in the supreme governmental service of the Lord, no living being wishes to be relieved from the engagement. The highest perfection of human life is to seek some employment under the Lord's supreme service. That will make one extremely happy. I'll read it again. The highest perfection of human life is to seek some employment under the Lord's supreme service. That will make one extremely happy. One need not seek the moving goddess of fortune without the relation of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad
Jai.
Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jay.
Hare Krishna.
Hari.
Well, I'll stop there for the reading portion at least, and if there's any other points, we'll take them. Hare Krishna.
I might have something.
Did you say you had something, or you didn't?
I'm sorry. I'm about to see if I have something. Give me like 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Haribo Prabhuji.
We need to leave now. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Okay, well, I wanted to ask for any insights you had with this verse. It's very broad. Talks about like a lot of things, a lot of different factors. But I'm just wondering if you have any general insights. It's 1854. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, and who controls the body and the tongue, and is always in trance and is detached, who is without false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and who does not accept material things. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. I know I'm just
Where
running
is
through that.
this?
It's 1854, Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
Take your time if you want to.
Yeah, I got it here. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. That's what mine says.
Oh, is it 53 then? 'Cause that's the one right after.
Oh, yeah, 51 through 53 it says here. So you're just asking for anything on this one?
Yeah, like what's the? I don't know. I don't know if I want to fast track myself into it, but I just want to know what's like the. It's not that I'm not probably already doing that process, but I just want like insights into anything about like false ego or like about lust or about how you don't accept material things or like I don't know anything.
Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance, and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship and peaceful, such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. Yeah, I mean, basically, this is like, it's practically the qualities of a renounced person. And the previous verse says, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. The previous verse before that says, one who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. Well, I guess I can just offer from what I know immediately in looking at this verse. This is also like, one may practice renunciation as, whatever ashram we're in, whether you're a grihasta or you're a renounced, you're practicing whatever it is. A person may be situated in a renounced order and maybe have little slivers of still being attached, but they're practicing renunciation. There's a certain level of detachment that one requires to actually take on the renounced order, but there's also a certain level of mostly internal, like if one can at least not engage on the physical platform, then he may be accepted into a renounced order,
Yeah.
even if in his mind is not totally 100% absolutely there yet. But by practicing that renunciation, he can take his Krishna consciousness the rest of the way. So with this is like, if we're not there yet, we can actually take on and practice these qualities, whether even if we're a grihasta, just a practitioner of situated in any way. And at the same time, these are all qualities of devotees. So once we've attained the perfect stage, these are all natural byproducts of it. So, it's a very practical verse, actually, that we can like take step by step, one thing at a time, and meditate on it and apply it. And what's the word again? Assimilate it. And we can kind of gauge where we're at to like, how much am I taking on objects of sense gratification? How much am I, attachment, being freed from attachment and hatred, living in a secluded place, which basically means, it doesn't mean you have to live in the forest, but, Prabhupada said forest in the modern times means preaching. Like being completely absorbed in preaching is equal to, like, in this age right now, is equal to, like, going to the forest.
That's awesome.
Actually, it's considered to be superior because you can be engaged in the Sankirtan movement and be surrounded by sense objects, like, especially when you're going on Sankirtan, there's so much stuff, there's shops and so many things to buy and so many people, and, people happily, apparently enjoying so many material things. But to be unfazed by that and fixed in your devotion and engaged in preaching is considered to be like a higher stage than like trying to avoid the temptations, because you're right there, they're right in front of your face, but you're unmoved. The tendency is if one separates themselves, then whenever they do come in contact, it becomes disturbing. It's not like across the board, because obviously, uh, you know, very exalted souls live separately, and they're engaged in high sadhana, and they're on a different platform. But for the general practitioners, uh, you know, being amongst devotees, being in association with devotees, you know, being a ghost Janandi as opposed to a Bhajananandi is recommended. At least this is our Prabhupada's mood of the movement, Yeah, so anyway, it's a nice verse to know and practice.
Yeah.
And it's, if we're trying to refine our sadachar, our behavior and devotional expression, then we can also learn it and express it, or we can learn it and practice it to get to that stage. So
One thing
just
that stood out to me with that verse was at the beginning it says controlling the mind with determination. That was like I kind of like I've heard it so many times, but I've never like made it so clear to myself, like those words that Prabhupada chose, like or not even Prabhupada, but in Sanskrit, determination will like if you're determined to just be Krishna conscious and do everything as bhakti and stay on the path and achieving your goals of practicing yoga, just that alone will like keep you away from Maya. Like, you might be tempted with so many different things, but if you're determined, then it just like helps like break away all that stuff. So keeping that in mind is helpful. Just the determination of what you want.
What's awesome is he says even being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, which if we know that one analogy about, or euphemism, add another word, about how the intelligence controls the mind, which controls the senses. The senses are the reins, the horse, I forget, but anyways, the intelligence controls the mind, which controls the senses. So if we're purified by our intelligence, then we can control our mind like that. And it made sense to me like that anyways, I don't know.
yeah, the senses are the horses, the mind is the reins, and the
Right.
intelligence is the driver. Yeah, and it's nice you bring up this point also, because this is something I think in long-term practice of devotional service, it's periodically we might have to recenter ourselves and our intelligence, and like the more I'm practicing now, and the tendency is, at least for me, is just to kind of like try to relax. Like, okay, I got to this point now, everything's good, and the senses are like wild horses. They want to go here, they want to go there, and the intelligence, more and more as I'm getting older, my intelligence is more like it's like I have to like parent myself. Like, no, we don't want to do that. We want to do this. Like a loving parent, taking control of the mad like little kid of a mind and senses. The kid just wants to go and eat anything. He wants to like stick his slobbery mouth on the outlet, just like he's gonna get shocked, or stick his finger in the fire in the oven or something, or like, oh, like this gets distracted and then goes for it, and then the higher intelligence has to say, no, that's gonna hurt you. That's not a good idea. So like, spiritual intelligence is like being able to discriminate like that in terms of on spiritual level. Like, no, maybe engaging in sense gratification every day is not good for you. You know, like me, I want to. Right now, I'm very regulated, but not always in the best way. I want to like eat late at night, right before I go to bed. And it's like, so now it's like, okay, we got to use our intelligence here. This is not good for your body. It's not helping your early morning sadhana. This is not helping. So it's like, you know, we have to tell ourselves no for the things that are not benefiting us, and choose something higher. It's not always easy. But the tendency is, especially in American culture, is like chase instant gratification. So disciplining oneself and yeah. Anyway, we have to be determined to do that. Otherwise, the whole current's flowing against us. In the material world.
Jay Prabhuji, um, thank you so much, first of all, Bhakti-Adam, for bringing up this point and for all that's shared. Bhakti C, we were talking about that determination, and Pranaji, like we always had that thing where I'd talk to you in the day and we're kind of convening on what our sadhana is, and we would say, hey, got to keep my head in the game, and that's like the mood of being able to be beyond some of the influences of life and circumstance. We're living human lives as well, but the sadhana is so important, and having our mind situated creates the ability to be separate from the aspects of Maya that are there. And I wanted to bring up, I've heard an analogy at one point where like Krishna's, the charioteer, and I'd heard that the anartas of the heart, lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, envy, are almost symbolized because he's controlling the horses. I don't know exactly if that is in Shastra, but I've heard it from a specific devotee. So again, the whole mood of like not chasing the world, we can be more present in a way, like, because the verse was talking about being in a secluded space or being situated in a, you know, in a place, eating small amounts, controlling the intelligence. All of those things really help to amp up our abilities to keep our head in the game of sadhana, seva, and bhakti. Yeah. It was nice to hear that, and yeah, I definitely feel that whole area of the verses has been a big thing for me. Chapter 18 is chapter 18. So.
Thanks for sharing that, Prabhuji.
Jay, thank
It's
you all.
also another point to add is, the mind is going to go here and there, but we can at least try to situate ourselves in our intelligence. So like we may have the sense, or we may maybe we have experienced like having the ideal or a certain standard in my mind, but somehow like I can see myself deviating from it, but I know better than what I'm doing. And if we can situate ourselves in intelligence to know, basically, like we can settle back into our intelligence, even if we do go away, or like whatever, our mind goes somewhere, or we engage or get distracted for a little bit, maybe just like a minute or something in a certain situation, or even like we get caught up in a whole situation for like a couple months or something, or years, or whatever it is. It's like, okay, like if we kind of are keeping contact, like hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavad Gita, like keeping this in our consciousness, then actually we'll start to settle more and more into that, and then the mind will go less and less. It's just like japa, like by focusing on the sound vibration, the mind wants to run around, but then the more you practice, the more the mind becomes centered. So it's like in life, keeping that spiritual intelligence, remembering the smaranam, remembering what you hear, and it will slowly settle into that, if that makes sense. So anyway, just sharing that.
Hey, thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Haribol.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well, any final points? Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai. Vanchakalpa
Kalpatarubhyascha
tarubhyascha
kripa
kripa sindhubhya
sindhubhya
eva cha
evacha
patitanam
patitanam
pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
vaishnavebhyo
vaishnavebhyo
namo
namo
namaha.
namaha.
Bhakti Vaishnava ki
Jai.
Hey.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all so much for tuning in.